morning, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, let me set this up real quick. Let me set this up. I gotta add a source. Video source. Hit that. I'm gonna know how to do this. It's working well. All right. We're gonna do this and this, and we should be good. Right? Okay. For those who are watching, we just finished watching the video. So when y'all hear about us talk about, or me talk about this video in reference to what we're talking about, they have already seen the video. We promise that at the end of this stream, we're going to play the video for you so that you can get it, right? So what we were watching, of course, was successful black young adults, nobody over the age of 19. The individuals that were, when they started, you realize they were what? The youngest one that started the company was 6. So from 6 until 19, of course, they're in development, developing themselves. Their talents, their gifts, what God felt that they called them to do to be able to manifest their wealth in today's world. They're not waiting. That was not an old video. That was something new, right? So now we go into all that we've talked about was the King Solomon generation. For the last 2 weeks, this is the last Sunday for Children's Church. Because no, next Sunday is going to be the last one. Y'all get to do y'all performance, and we'll be streaming that too. Y'all make sure y'all come see that. Right? So then now, what today is talking about? Wisdom and wealth, a King Solomon generation, investing according to your talents. Investing according to your talents. Now I got to make sure that you get a hold of what we've been talking about this whole time. So you can understand what the experience of Akibaland meant for the generations before, what it should mean to the generations now, and what we hope that when y'all leadership comes into being, what it'll mean for the generations in the future. And what we talked about was that inheritance. So each week we started off with a chant. We're going to start it off with the same chant, because this is the foundation of what we're all working for. As a community, this is it. So repeat after me. Say, I will make you a great nation.
I will make you a great nation.
And I will bless you.
And I will bless you.
I will make your name great.
I will make your name great.
You will be a blessing.
You will be a blessing.
I will bless those who bless you.
I will bless those who bless you.
I will curse those who curse you.
I will curse those who curse you.
And through you,
I
will bless all the nations.
I will bless all the nations.
Remember that. What did we say that signified? The covenant. It signified the covenant. And we said there were 2 ways for us to access that promise of the covenant, that he's going to make us a great nation. And those 2 ways was, 1, love that God with all the heart, mind, and strength. Who remembers the second one? Love thy brother as thyself. Right. That's clear. If you don't, when you walk out of church every Sunday, remember those 2 things. When you're walking through your life, those 2 things. Because without those 2 things, we're not in harmony with God. Doesn't matter what you do. Loving God with all your heart, mind, and your strength, 1. And your brother as thyself, 2. That's how he's going to judge who you are in him. Did you love me? Yes, I loved you. Or did you love the person next to you? That's deep. You're like, how well did you treat the person sitting next to you? Now, we went back and we discussed the issue of King Solomon, right? And so we did that for 2 weeks and we looked at different areas. The first one was talking about what did King Solomon, it's a recap to make sure y'all get it. Before we can get to the kids who are investing in their own lives according to their talents and their understanding. Right? And of course that's going to lead to this will lead to a parable. We'll get to that. But we said King Solomon knew after when his father was giving him the kingdom, he knew that I can't lead. I'm too young. I can't lead. There's wisdom that I don't have. So who remembers what he asked God for? Correct. He asked God for wisdom, and that impressed God. Because he said, God, I need the wisdom to guide your people to you. So God blesses him. with three things. He said, I'm going to give you wisdom above everybody else. There's going to be nobody living who is smarter than you. Because everybody's going to come around you. And then he said, I'm going to give you fame and wealth. And we had that great dialogue about how much he actually made, which was $2.1 trillion. And they said today, did you look it on the internet? Did you double check? You didn't even look.
I took the Maximusa, but I looked at all.
So how much was Maximusa?
They said they had like a number.
Okay. So what I said was it was in the number they couldn't calculate it. And so when you so it was difficult. But when I put like verses, I put the word verses. Right. I put the word verses, and then it judged according to, and they said Solomon according to the history was it. Right. Well, and then the third thing he said, I'm going to give you longevity. King Solomon ruled for 40 years. And that's how they were able to judge some of what he made. He said his kingdom was for 40 years, yes? Longevity means for a long time. Longevity. It's a long, long, long time. Like who has grandparents in here? Right there. How old is your grandparent? You don't know. 60? 90? Woo! That's longevity, brother. 93. How old are you? He's 6. Right, so take 93 minus 6. That's how long it's going to take you to get to the B93. It's a long time. But that's what it means. Can you please sit in the chair correctly? Thank you. Now that situation impressed him. And so we went on from there to discuss that scenario and why he did it and why God blessed him. For the sake of the covenant, because I'm going to make you great, and you even want to be. He said, I don't only want to do what my father did, who was King David. I want to do better, so I need that wisdom. I want us to be a great nation. He could have said, I want to be great, me by myself. No, I want a great nation, so everybody in my nation eats, lives well, does well, develops within themselves. And then we went to talk about the harvest. And we said there were 7 laws of a harvest. Again, trying to get you to realize, how do you go about planting in your own life? Developing within your own life. Your state of wealth and wisdom. And we said 7 laws. And now laws, are it. You can't change them. You can't add to them. You can't take away. Laws is you go against the law. No one's going to come against you, but the law will go against you. You don't go outside the rule of a divine law. And the number 1 was you sow your seed in a state of gratitude. Always. When you start building on your life, and that's in all areas, it has to be in a state of gratitude for what you've not even done. And the other day we said, how many people had their sight yesterday? And everybody raised their hand. I said, how many people had their sight today? Then they raised their hand. I said, now what did you do to get it? You didn't know. So you in gratitude for the blessings that God already gave. The second one was you reap what you sow. And hopefully everybody remembers what that means. You get what you put out. If you put out, we said what you sow is your decisions, bad or good. You sow something good, you get something good. You sow something bad, you get something bad. The third one was the harvest comes later than the planting. Meaning that you can't do something like, boom, let it happen. It doesn't work that way. So what you're going to get from things that you do will come a little bit later. If you were watching the video, the 19-year-old dude who's worth $3 million started his business at 6. But he didn't become a millionaire until he was 19. Wait a minute, you still underage according to the law. You ain't 21 yet. He's a millionaire at 19 and he started at 6. He harvested, he sowed, and now he's reaping. Number 4 was the harvest is greater than the planting. Meaning what you plant, you get back. If you plant a seed, you don't get back a seed. You plant 1 seed, you get 1 tree. Do you get a tree? Yeah, I got more than what I planted. If you plant a grape seed, we said you don't get 1 grape. No, you get a grapevine. So what you harvest, what you get back for the work that you put out is always more than what you put in, especially when you're doing it with God. You reap into proportion to what you sow. One seed, one tree. In finance, we always say building multiple businesses. This is why we act. You sitting there taking 8 classes, you get 1 A, and you got 5 D's. Did you pass? No. Because the D's outweigh the A. But if you sit down and you putting in the work for the things that you struggle with, those 5 A's come out. Number 6, never give up. You don't have control of the sun. You don't have control over the rain. God does that. So once you start planning the things that you want in life, be patient. Because if your heart is right, God's coming. And what you receive will be there. Again, the kid started at 6. You think by 8, he was like, it ain't working. He kept working. By 10, he didn't do that. By 19, he's got what was it, 3 million, 2 million, 2.1 million? Huh? 3.5 million. Ridiculous, but he started at 6. Never give up. The last one, you cannot do anything about the last year's harvest. What you did last year is over. Some people carry weight of their yesterday. And so you walk around angry and mean for whatever happened to you yesterday. When God gives you an opportunity to be good and great and have abundance now. So whatever happened yesterday, let it go. Now, so today, we're in that process where we're talking about investing according to the talents in you. Now, of course, and I'm gonna break down because usually I like my little graphic stuff, and I chose Bitcoin because Bitcoin is an innovative means that somebody creatively came up with a new currency, and it made a lot of people rich real fast. Even now, people, even though it was shaky, a lot of people didn't understand it. Those who didn't understand it didn't invest. I know a person that invested? Yes. I knew a person who borrowed $5,000. Borrowed it. What? He borrowed $5,000 and invested in Bitcoin, and then made $1 million and gave the $5,000 back. What? Right. But that was because he took the time to understand how that works. He sat down and said, there's something in this that works with me. Let me do the math. And he took the time to understand it. He took the time to manage it, develop it. He took the time to grow it. And so I chose Bitcoin because this is something that was in your era. I chose the young brother right there because he's an accountant. He's doing his math. So this is something, I wanted y'all to see something that is current. Why? Because I'm not asking you to invest in your life when you get older. I'm going to ask you, what are you doing today to make that happen? What are you doing today so that you can see the wisdom in you? What are you doing today? So that you can experience wealth. I had an experience where I built foundations, and I don't want to do that within the group. Okay, you don't want to do it. What do you want to do? And then there's silence. And there is no effort to do anything. So we go out with a year where we produce nothing. Not my fault. But the issue is, in terms of you guys, when do you put the work in so that you can sit back and look and know that I've manifested the me? I'm not employed, I deploy. How you say your employment when your parents and everybody looking for a job? We're trying to get you to deploy, meaning you deploy yourself. You are the job. You are the success. Everything you do comes out of you. It's not something that somebody's telling you to do, but something that you've done on your own because of your understanding. So we come across a parable. Who knows what a parable is? Who knows what a parable is? Everybody knows what a parable is?
Isn't it like it's a story that's a
right? It's a short story that does what?
That has to doesn't it have a moral, or is it?
Yeah. Great word. It's a story. It's a short story that gives a moral or a spiritual lesson. And here's the hard part about reading parables in the Bible. You read it, and then they tell you, of course, they try to discern what it means and what it was trying to say. And so sometimes, you got to sit down and you read a parable and somebody give you the definition of what it means, but it means something different to you. You know what I mean? You get something different. So this particular parable, a lot of people use it. And that's why, okay, went down. But that's why I use it one of the talents. And since I was a kid, I looked at this different than everybody else, but I couldn't tell nobody. And so the story is that there is there's a master, and he's about to leave on a long trip, and he has 3 servants. So he calls his servants together, and he said, I'm going to give you some of my estate to watch over while I'm gone. And I'm going to give it to you according to your understanding and your ability. The first servant comes up and he gives him 5 talents. The second servant comes up and he gives him 2 talents. The third servant comes up and he gives him 1.
Are you saying talents or talents?
Talents.
Like a skill?
No, it's spelled the same way. Yeah. Spelled the same way. No, talents. T-A-L-E-N-T. So now in biblical history, right, a talent is the weight of gold or silver. So you can tell what it is. It's either gold or it's a block, right? I don't know if y'all ever watch Chinese movies and they come out with these little blocks of silver. You know what I'm saying? The blocks of gold. That's what a talent is. So now, he said, now he disappears. So the first guy says, oh, I'm going to take my 5 talents. I'm going to go trade with it. The second guy goes, oh, I'm going to take my 2 talents, and he goes trades with it. The third one said, oh, I don't know what to do with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig a hole, and I'm going to bury it, and after I bury it, you know, I'm going to keep it safe. That's what he did. So then, long time goes by, and then the master comes back. And he comes to collect on his accounts, to settle up on his accounts. So the first guy comes in and says, hey, I traded with the talents. I have 5. Here's 5. Master said, oh, great job. Pat on the back. Good job. Other guy said, hey, I took the 2 talents, traded with the 2. Now I got 4. Good job. Hey, great. What are you doing? The third one said, hey, Master, you know, I didn't know what to do with it, and I know you worked hard for what you got. And so because you worked hard at what you got, and I'm paraphrasing, so that paraphrasing means I'm speaking over it real fast, not reading from the Bible. Right? So he said, and I didn't want to mess it up, so I gave you the talent. Here's the talent that you had. Here. And he said, wait a minute, well, you didn't go invest it? Why, you didn't know what to do? You couldn't even take it to the banker and get some interest? I could at least got interest. He said, no. He got mad and punished the other servant. Now, everybody, mostly in the world, identifies with the first 2. I didn't identify with the first 2. I identified with the third one, and I'll tell you why in a few minutes. Right? That was funny when I was a kid. I identified with the third. It took my whole life before I even, and I still don't identify with, I still don't identify with the third. You can identify with the first one, and you can identify with the second one, or you can identify with the third. And I'm going to tell you why I identify with the third. But it's okay to identify with either one of them, because it doesn't make any difference. It's a parable. What do you get out of it? And I'm going to show you what I got out of it. Now, a lot of people that get out of it, when they see that particular thing, it says, I gave you 5 talents. Who in here in the room believes that they have more than 5, at least 5 different gifts? Right. So in that, it's going to sit down and say, it's going to tell you that you are required to do more with what you have. If you have 5 gifts, your understanding of who you are, those are your talents, your understanding. If your understanding of what God has put into you is great, then your responsibility with that is great. Who in here says, well, you know what? I don't have 5. I got a couple of them. I got 2. You feel me? Right. Now, does that mean you're any different than the people who had 5? No. Because it's your understanding. Why is she better than you? Because of her understanding. It's still your understanding. Success, and I preach you said that, success is not judged by what other people do. Success is judged on what you do according to what you know with what you have. Don't judge yourself by the next person. Judge yourself by, hey, you know what? I can't play ball, but I bet you I can coach. How many coaches you know in the NBA coaching ain't never played ball? Most of them. But they study the game and they can tell other people how to do it better. And then, of course, you get a LeBron where LeBron is sitting there saying, I want to be a player coach too. Yo, this is what's going to happen. He's weak, this, and he's interacting with the other coach. And they come up with the game plan. Oh, go execute it. That's a connection. But one has 5 talents, the other one has 2. Now, I sat down, and when I was growing up, I said, well, you know, it's just like, if I give you $100, do you have the right to spend my $100? If I'm sitting there saying, hold it?
Oh.
Right. Right.
Wait, what?
And that, right. Understand, it was servant and master. I'm going to entrust you with my estate. Entrust you with it. And if you don't know what to do with the $100, keep it safe. Yes. Thank you. That's why I said, look at the parable. I said, well, wait a minute. I said the same thing. So why is he in trouble? I said, the dude didn't know what to do with the money, but at least he didn't lose it. And then it said, click, as I got older. I said, wait a minute. When the guy said, you could have went to a banker and invested it. Now, as I started getting older, my understanding went from 1 to 2 to 5. My understanding about life and my talents increased. And so what I thought then and what I think now is a whole lot different. Now, in that scenario, like you said, why did he get in trouble? In the Bible, if you borrow money from somebody, you're not supposed to charge interest. It's against the law. You're not supposed to charge interest against anybody that you borrow money from. It's against the law. So what the master asked him was, did you break the law for me? He said, no. I said, wow. He kept honor. He kept dignity. Self-respect. Regardless of whether or not I would have been in trouble or not, I'm not going to lose who I am. I've had a small amount of understanding, and so all I could do is return to you what you gave. And then I said, as I got older, I said, well, what did he do wrong? I said, ooh.
I had a question. So, if someone asks to borrow money, and then, like, it's late for pay, so say some days go by, and they're supposed to bring you the money back, you can't charge interest?
I'm not saying you can't. You can do what you see fit. God don't tell you what you can. He just says, biblically, to charge interest to your brother is to profit off his life. And you're not supposed to profit off the life of your brother.
But he do that all the time.
Wait. But that's for something y'all got to discuss. Oh, you charge interest to your brother? Oh, you try to rip your brother off?
Sometimes.
You know what I'm saying? So he's honest.
Yeah,
and so that's the third person. The third person was honest. He said, look, I'm not losing my integrity. You didn't say no. So he's that third person, which I appreciate. He said, yeah, sometimes I try to lift my brother off. So, you know, why you try to rip your brother off? Right. So now the issue is that why you charge him interest? See? So now you reap him, now you understand the harvest. You just reap what you sow. You can't be trying to hustle your brother and expect your brother not to hustle you. You know what I'm saying? Even though they're your brothers. But in the Bible it says you're not supposed to charge interest. So I said, well, he couldn't go to the banker. So what he did was, he said, despite, and I'm in fear of my master. So despite whether or not I was going to get in trouble or not, I still kept my integrity. Not one person in that parable did bad. That was the hard part. But what they didn't do, this is clear. What he didn't do was seek, ask, or knock. And I don't know if y'all remember that conversation we had. Yes. Right, you remember that one. Seek, ask, or knock. We're dealing with the liberation of the black nation Israel. And in this parable, Jesus is trying to talk to people about using it. Now what I didn't see in there was neither individual sought the master to say, what would you have me do? Because he said, I'm giving this to you according to your understanding. There was no understanding within them. Why did the dude who had 5 talents help the dude who had 2? Why the dude who had 2 talents help the one who had 1? There was no collective encounter. And so each individual made profit according to that individual's life. Single. Now, of course, you can profit in your life separately. But if this brother's sitting back here with 5 talents and this brother's sitting over here with 2, guess what? Separate. His success is judged by him, but that doesn't make us a people. The one who had no talent, why the dude with the no talent, the 2 who had wisdom, Why didn't he go to the other brother and say, yo, let's sit down and let's talk about this? Work this out. Why didn't all three of them? Because one had 5, the other one had 2, the other had 1. Together it was 8. Why did they sit down together and figure out how to take the 8 and increase it to 32? You will have success in your personal life. That's perfect. You will have failure in your personal life. That's fine. Failure, as long as you keep it integrity. It said, if you don't sit down and plan to fail, then you're not going to achieve nothing. But even in his failure, what he achieved, and he got punished for not trying. I didn't say he got punished for not asking, not seeking, not knocking. Because you could have asked the master, because you don't have it. He said, like Solomon. King Solomon, when he got the kingdom, he did not know. He had all his riches and all these resources. And he did not know how to run the kingdom. So what did he do? I asked for wisdom. Now he had understanding, but I didn't have the understanding my father did, so I asked for it. So when you don't know something, how much do you ask? When you don't know something, how much do you seek? When you don't know something, how much do you not? When you do have talents, how much do you invest your talent? They didn't invest. The person who had 5 talents didn't invest 4. He didn't invest 3, 2, or 1. He invested the whole thing. He gave everything he got. That he was given, he gave it all. That's what the world likes you to see. He gave it all. The second one, he didn't have it. All he had was 2. He could have lost the 2. He gave it all. The other one said, I don't know what to do with it. He should have asked. How I feel, the person who had 5 talents should have been teaching the 2. Teaching the 1. It should have been a family. And I tell you, you can talk to anybody about the talents parable. Nobody will speak at it this way. Nobody will. Because all they ever see is those 2 people. What they don't see is they work as individuals. But the Bible is not about a book of an individual having individual success for the sake of the individual. King Solomon said, I'm going to be great because God is going to make us a great nation. He's going to make our names great. We're going to be able to do great things. And not only that, people will look at us and they will see something wonderful about us and they will be great. And if you don't like us, it ain't like me if you don't like Solomon. No, if you don't like us as a people, you're going to be cursed. But if you bless a keep it. They said, what does it say? Something about a keep land. You come against if you so and so, they'll meet the power of the keep land. What? What's that line? Yeah, that's just the line. They'll meet the right, you are the best. Right, if you mess with our brothers and sisters, and get it. And look at how it was written. It's not if you mess with me. It ain't if you mess with me. For part, there we go. There. No one dare try to pull us apart, or they will meet the power of a keeper land. We are the best out of all the rest. We are God's chosen children. Let a keeper land rise. Let the black nation live. Let a keeper land rise. Let the black nation live. In that affirmation is not about you. It's not about one person. It's about the group. And everybody in the group is sacred. And the group takes care of the group. But within that group, what you're supposed to do is get every bit of talent that you got. And if you got 5 talents, you are supposed to help the one who has 1. Because nobody in our group is supposed to produce to a point where they fail by themselves. In that parable, everybody succeeded at their own individual efforts. That is not how the Bible was working when it was written. It's how men have decided to interpret it because of just me. Me. If King Solomon had said me, God would have gave him nothing. Because we remember at the end we said he didn't do what God had him do. And God said, I'm going to take the kingdom from you. But it's not going to be from you. I'm going to take it from your son. You're going to have it because I like your daddy. But since you did wrong, I'm going to take it from your son. So when his son got it, his son lost the kingdom. Why? Because at the end of his reign, at the end of the 40 years, King Solomon wasn't thinking, ooh, King Solomon started thanking me. And that's wrong. Now what we look at is and if you realize on the video, she was talking about well-off, focused, determined, African American youth. And so she did a list of African American youth. It's a group. That focus and that particular piece was done on purpose. The website itself, they talk about African American individuals in our community. It is about a group movement. Now what can you do with the support of the group? If you can do great with your 5 talents on your own, which is what the first one do, what would he have been able to do with the support of the other 2? What would this one in the second, if he would say, yo, I'm doing this, you want help? You need help? Then that other one wouldn't have been such fear. I say that they all did the best that they could do with what they knew, and that's clear. In terms of, and this is, you get this one, this is important, this is key, so write it in your mental Rolodex. Your understanding changes according to how you govern yourself. The one who had 5 talents, some of us are born super smart. Who went to school and can go to school without even trying? Raise your hand. Good, do it. Without even trying. Yeah, raise it high. You see that? Without trying. You don't even try to study. It just slip in there.
I don't even be studying.
Now, put your hand. Now, who goes to school and you have to study to get it done? I'm smart, but I worked on it. I worked on it. I put the work in. Now, which means, right, so then, in terms of the story, you have been given, everybody has been given, everybody has been given certain abilities at birth. But that doesn't mean that your abilities that you were given at birth aren't increased throughout your life. Because now, put me in a classroom and I will contend with anybody. I took my one talent where I sat down and said, I wouldn't know what to do if he wanted me to do with it. So why am I spending this money? They don't even have the right to spend the money. Now I sit down and I see the parable completely different. And most preachers who preach about this never really acknowledge the fact that it is against the law to charge interest. So why did he get in trouble? They don't even discuss that. Why? Because now they got to really figure out what the parable really means. And they don't. So they stop at the first 2. I sit down and say, it's about being a collective group. Everybody has their journey, and you can have individual successes or failures. But if everybody collectively would have stood together, nobody would have been left out. You would have been able to have the integrity and honor and self-respect as the third one had. And you would have been able to have the success as the first one. And in working together, everybody's understanding elevates. Because you interacting and kicking it with each other. I'm not going to succeed. I'm going to do, this is real. I'm going to do my talent. Like now, my talent, they're looking at what I do, right? They're looking at the graphics. They're looking at the web design. They look at the streaming. I know computers, technology. I can build anything. They look at the code. They're looking at everything. I didn't start here. Now, do I keep it to myself or do I share it? They said the sister in Detroit, if y'all remember, the entrepreneur from Detroit. Is Detroit in the building? Hello, is Detroit in the building? Yeah. Do y'all know that sister? You know what? You ever heard of her? Right, ain't that something? Right, ain't that something? But they said in Detroit, and that's why I said I wanted to make sure y'all got this. In Detroit, she has already trained 40 other kids to do what she's doing. In Detroit. So we have individuals from Detroit who sit here like, wait a minute, I never even heard about that. That means you're the one talent. You're the one talent. Yeah, you're the third person. Right. Now what the question is how will you ask, seek, and find and duplicate the same thing or become a part of that same movement? Because she said herself, I don't feel right about being the only one doing this, so I'm training other people. I've given my talent, and now I have to train other people. When that dude in the first one got his talent, and the talents of the weight of the gold, right? And he poured it in and gave it all. When he realized that he was coming back, he should have checked on the other 2. When that second one got it, and he said, well, I wonder how the first one got it, because if that first one lost that 5 talents, boy, oh boy, he in trouble. He should have checked on him. And they both should have checked on the third one. It's supposed to be a group effort. But you're supposed to give everything you got according to what you know. When you realize you don't know, what are you supposed to do if you don't know something? Say it again. Ask, seek, knock. Ask, and even if you got 5 talents, you still want to know what God wants you to do. Because we got individuals making life plans that got nothing to do with what God is calling them to do, but got everything to do with what they want. I'm like, okay, so what they got to do with God and the liberation of God's people and building God's kingdom? Nothing. So is that a problem? No, because he's going to give you your success. But guess what? It's your personal success. And it does not connect to the kingdom of God. Does that happen? Yes, because that's what the parable said. You will have personal success. But we have groups? No, because you don't even identify with the group. They were all servants. We all sticking together. Aren't you supposed to identify with the people you come up with, you struggling with? Yes. But if you can get out, bye. You think not? If you get out, bye. But if you're working together, and when they say each one teach one, that's exactly what this is. When it says he's not heavy, he my brother, that's what this is. This is. So with a keeper in terms of investing, pick a trade. We have anybody? We'll ask any entrepreneurs in the house? Anybody starting any business? What's your business? Give me a pass. So now his first. Now watch this. A keeper land is supposed to support that, right? Because if he's a keeper land member and he's putting his talents in, and he says, "Hey y'all, I'm doing this, and I believe in the covenant," which means God is going to make us a great people if we continue to fight. But this is the fight that I'm having. Support. Everybody's supposed to support him. Brother, you want to talk about your business?
I started a juice business last year in August, and it's coming up to be 1 year now. But I make natural juices for the bookstore, and it's done pretty good so far.
Now, that's a keeper land. No one dare tries to pull us apart, or they'll meet the power of a keeper land. That means y'all work together. We got something in the bookstore. Do we support them? Or do you go get your juice at the soda at the CVS? You know what I'm saying? Is he supported? It's natural juices, so it's healthier for you. Support. And that's what we talk about. Investing. When you sit down, and I know for me, each time, my brothers was like my brother Thomas, and I don't know if I told you about Thomas. When he woke up in the morning, he would go to the grocery store, and he would go in there and he would bag people groceries. He didn't get hired. He didn't have to fill out no application, nothing. He just bagged people groceries, thank you, have a nice day, and had a little box sitting next to him. And people would drop money in the box. And so one day, Tommy came home with a pair of shell-top Adidas. And we all went crazy, like, yo, dude, where did you get the shells? Yeah, this was... told us everything how he did, how he raised his own money. I was bagging groceries at the grocery store. Next thing you know, and this is real talk, right? And maybe one day when I, feel like it, get my brothers to come up in here and talk, because I talk about my family. Next thing you know, at every grocery store you turned around where I was living, everybody was up trying to bag them groceries because we didn't want to hassle our mothers about buying us a new shell-top Adidas, because she was like, boy, you know how much they cost. I ain't, and I got 4 kids, and I'm a single mom, and I ain't trying to do none of them. We wasn't getting it. I had a pair of Pro Cats. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Y'all ever heard of Pro Cats before? Right. Even though they were the first sneaker, they was one of the first sneakers that everybody used to play basketball with. But I wear a pair of Pro Cats of 49ers, but then when them shell tops came out, Thomas didn't keep it to himself. Thomas told everybody. So even when Thomas didn't feel like doing it, you can go to the grocery store and you see kids in there bagging groceries. And that's not, and because you're young, you didn't have to fill out no application. Why? Because they can't employ you. So it was whatever people wanted to give. Ma'am, do you mind if I take that to your car for you? Yeah, sure. Thank you. Now, has anybody gone to Kroger's and see those old men say, hey, you need a ride? You need a ride? You need a ride? You haven't been there? There's a bunch of, and they do that. They just give you a ride home. Now you got Uber. It's a lot easier because it's safer. But Mr. Willie, that's all he had. But what you got to do is you got to know that you're giving everything you got to invest in whatever your plan is. You got to open that eye up. Hello? You got to open that eye up. You got to open that eye up, because if you don't ask God what is, because he said the boy started his company at 6. And then the dude said, I didn't like the bow ties they had, so I asked my grandmama to teach me how to sew. What? And now he's a millionaire. What? The girl said my grandmother had the flaxseed thing, and so now I'm making lemonade, and I'm selling it in the grocery store. What? She's a multi-millionaire making lemonade. What? Open your eyes up and find out what God placed in you. And if you can't see what God placed in you, that's when you go back to the 3. Ask, seek. Now, you got to do what King Solomon did. God, I need wisdom. I need wisdom to figure out what you would have me do, so I don't have to wait until I'm grown. Because we got some geniuses in here. Everybody, well, we all geniuses. And we got some budding geniuses where we can see the creativity in individuals coming out. And if you don't see it right now in you, it's because you have to slow down to ask. And that's what we want to get. Don't be afraid to ask God, or even ask somebody else. Hey, what do you see in me? What skills, or how can I use this to do this to get this? How can I do this to get that? I always go back to my favorite cartoon, one of my favorite cartoons, Phineas and Ferb. Those boys was geniuses. They were geniuses, and their minds were open, so they look at their resources and they built every time. And so we're asking Akiba Land to build. Akiba Land to help one another. We sit down and say we have a group, and we have the grades in our group go like this. Right? Grades in our group go like this. Hey, wait. I don't know how much my group actually helps each other through school. But they all the same age, they all hang out together, but they like this. Now what happens when the identity of the group is greater than the identity of you? And that means that your success is their success is your success. And you help each other. That's what we're moving into. That's what we're trying to get. King Solomon said, yeah, it ain't about me.
So what's when your success is just their success?
That's even greater. He said, what happens when your success is just their success? That's when you sit down and say, you know what, I am selfless. And that was King Solomon. Because King Solomon said, give me the wisdom to bring them up to you. He didn't say, God, let me be. No, King Solomon said, give me the wisdom to bring them up to you. And when that's what, wait, you want me to, wait, so you didn't ask me to make you live long. You didn't ask me to kill your enemies. You asked me for the wisdom so that you could help them. Is that not him asking for their success before he asked for his own thing? I need to lead you. I'm trying to lead you so you can be what God called you to be, so that we can be that great nation. That's what you get. You wind up being king, brother. Ain't that something? Sorry, give me that. That was a king question. That's a good one. Any other questions before we go? All right.
We done?
Yeah, just about. Yeah. We're going to find out. Now, hello. Next week, when we do, when we're doing children's, we're going Sunday service, we'll be filming Sunday service over there. All right, and I'll be setting up over there for us to film over there, and for the world to get to see, everybody gets to see the service, and it'll be streamed on the site. What I want y'all to, as y'all leave, at the end of it, because this is the last one for summer camp. Right? And I want to do, before y'all go, I want to do a video so I can create a video experience for Weston. So I want y'all to say something in front of the camera. Yeah. We're not going to stream it, we're going to just record it. And if I like it, then I'll use it. If not, I mean, we'll get that. But anyway, the whole purpose was to understand that there is a covenant that God gives us. There's an inheritance that we're supposed to achieve. Your inheritance adds to the black nation. The inheritance that he will make us a great nation. Our names will be great. The nations, like a Cleveland, everybody will be blessed by you. Remember those two things. Anything that you learn biblically, spiritually, is on one foundation. That I will be your God if you will be my people. So you have to love your God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and your brother as thyself. King Solomon and everybody before him and everybody after him was about receiving that inheritance. In this particular version, the issue is, what are you going to do within that kingdom to receive your inheritance? The ones with 5 talents, the one with 2 talents, and the one with 1. Will you work only with your understanding, or will you seek higher understanding? Seek higher understanding. Don't only use yours. I tell my son and my daughter too, I said, I like the fact that you work hard, or you don't work at all, but you do according to what you were born to do. Some people are born, like you said, with more attributes. Yo, you know what? Yeah, it's nice, but you ain't amazing. Why not? Because you're just doing what you do. Let me see you what it looks like if you walk on water. You feel me? If you don't have 5 talents and you got 1, let me see you walk on water. Do something incredible that's not built into your creation. Add something to it, because God will add to you. If you got the 2 talent, the understanding of how to manifest or develop your skills or at a level 2. Let me see you walk on water. Don't just do what I see you can do. Let me see you ask for greater understanding and achieve more. If you got 5 talents and more responsibility to give, because you got more, it's natural for somebody with 5 talents to do great because they got 5 talents. Let me see you walk on water, ask, seek, and knock for something greater. I want to see you sit, like he said, what happens if the person with all the talent says, my success is the success of my people? That's king. That's queen. Because nobody starves, nobody's hungry, nobody's miseducated, nobody's unhealthy. Everybody is taken care of. That's Messiah-like. You come before me. That's messianic. You come before me. Now, the question is, what are you going to do? Not only with what you have, but what you can ask for. Because you can ask for great and mighty things. God will hold nothing back for those who are righteous. Those who are not righteous, like we said in terms of reaping, you reap what you sow. Sow with the thought that I will be a greater image of God's kingdom in me to help develop God's kingdom around me. Amen? Amen. Amen? Amen. 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 All right. Now y'all give me a second. What we're going to do before we end is I want to play the video for the people, and then we'll let it fade out so they can see what we were doing.
Young business owners are among the most driven and revolutionary leaders today. Competing against established, innovative, and growing companies force you to think creatively and remain passionate about your product or service. These young, successful Black entrepreneurs have many traits in common, but the most important one is that they believe in themselves. They receive support from their parents, family, friends, or even strangers, but they started with an idea. These young entrepreneurs took a chance. They drafted a business plan, then they strategized and executed their plan. Keep an eye on these game-changing, enterprising kids as they continue to make waves in the business world. We here at Black Excellence salute all of these kidpreneurs, and we recognize their courage and persistence. In this original Black Excellence video, we will be featuring 10 African-American kid entrepreneurs. If you have children or students who are expressing interest in entrepreneurship, this is a must-see. But without further ado, let's get started. Michaela Ulmer, 13. Me and the Bees Lemonade. An entrepreneur and bee ambassador, Michaela Ulmer created a product that combined her great-grandmother's flaxseed recipes and her passion into what she named Bee Sweet Lemonade. Michaela's lemonade is sweetened with honey from local bees, with a percentage of the profits donated to organizations fighting to save honeybees. The world first learned of Michaela at just 10 years old, when she fearlessly entered ABC's show Shark Tank and secured a sweet deal with investor Daymond John. When she was only 11 years old, the ambitious entrepreneur made an $11 million deal with Whole Foods Market, the chain of high-end grocery stores, to carry her homemade lemonade in more than 55 stores. Mosiah Mo Bridges, 16. Mo's Bows. Unsatisfied with the limited bow tie designs, Mosiah Bridges asked his grandmother to help him create new designs out of material he hand-selected. The need for bow ties that appealed to a younger generation would eventually result in Mosiah starting his own business called Mo's Bows. He would eventually pitch his idea to the Shark Tank, where Daymond John agreed to be a mentor. In 2017, the NBA inked a 7-figure sponsorship deal with the young Memphis entrepreneur, giving his company the right to produce bow ties for all 30 NBA teams. Haley Thomas, 17. Happy. Healthy, active, positive, purposeful youth. When Haley Thomas was 8, her dad was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, but she and her mom were determined to help him beat the disease without drugs. The family dove into the latest nutrition research and began transforming their eating habits. This inspired Haley to educate kids about nutrition. Thus, she founded her own nonprofit, the Happy Organization, standing for Healthy, Active, Positive, Purposeful Youth. Happy aims to improve the health and wellness of children by implementing programs that teach kids how to cook nutritious meals and promote physical activity. Asia Newson, 14. Super Business Girl. Asia Newson, also known as Super Business Girl, started her candle business when she was just 5 years old, but she has now expanded into a full-fledged empire. As one of the youngest entrepreneurs in Detroit, she would eventually gain worldwide recognition when ABC's 2020 cameras caught her selling her candles on the street. Today, she has expanded her brand to offer more products. But more importantly, she has trained over 40 other young kids in Detroit to be entrepreneurs, thus creating power and possibility across a whole community. Maya Penn. Maya's Ideas. Maya Penn is a successful 16-year-old award-winning eco-designer, artist, philanthropist, activist, entrepreneur, animated filmmaker, coder, illustrator, writer, and author who wants to change the world. Using her art and her business to help the planet and encourage girls to get involved in tech, the young CEO created an eco-friendly clothing and accessories line called Maya's Ideas. Maya has been featured in countless media outlets such as Forbes, Cosmopolitan, Essence Magazine, CBS This Morning, Entrepreneur Magazine, Black Enterprise, and has been chosen by Oprah Winfrey as one of her Super Soul 100 influencers.
If you love our videos and have a suggestion for a future edition, let us hear from you in the comments section below.
Marley Diaz, 13. Hashtag 1000 Black Girl Books. Marley Diaz launched hashtag 1000 Black Girl Books to collect and donate 1,000 books in which Black girls are the main characters. Marley loves reading, but understood that there is a bigger appeal for Black girls to pick up a book that contains relatable characters. As a result of her very successful book drive, Marley was invited to create her own online publication, Marley's Mag, for Elle Magazine's online site. Even more impressive, Marley was just placed on the Forbes 30 Under 30 list and is the youngest person on their 2018 list. Jalen Bledsoe, 19. Bledsoe Technologies. Jalen Bledsoe is a millionaire and credits a technology program for gifted third graders at his St. Louis school for his remarkable success. While in the 6th grade, Bledsoe taught himself web design after taking a yearbook design class. At age 12, he started an IT consulting company with just $100. Today, Jalen's company is valued at more than $3.5 million. Essence Moore, 17. Essence Couture. Black teenager, entrepreneur, and author Essence Moore released the Middle School's Chronicles book series aimed to help prepare younger students for middle school while tackling bullying, low self-esteem, and challenges of adolescence. The tween is the owner of several businesses that include motivational speaking, acting, and fashion. After the successful launch of her clothing line, she added a natural body product line named Wink. However, the salon offers more than just manis and petties. Essence also hosts workshops there that teach children about entrepreneurship, self-esteem, and real-life experiences. Zandra Cunningham. Zandra Beauty. Zandra Cunningham started an all-natural skincare company when she was just 9 years old. Using a small loan of $500, Zandra turned her hobby into a commercially viable enterprise worth over $500,000. Zandra Beauty now offers over 40 products including artisan soaps, body scrubs, body wash, and hand and body lotion. Zandra leverages her success to encourage youth entrepreneurs and empower young African American girls. She has also committed to donating 10% of all net profits to support girls' education. Zandra's hope is to inspire youth to take action and make things happen for themselves and their communities. Corey Nieves, Mr. Corey's Cookies. Corey Nieves always dreamed of making the world better. That passion, combined with a love of treats and an entrepreneurial spirit, led him to start his own business at the age of 6 years old, called Mr. Corey's Cookies. From his tiny home kitchen, Nieves thrived to the point where his operations graduated into a commercial space. Corey and his cookies business was featured on a special episode of CNBC's The Profit, as well as The Ellen Show. These days, he sells up to 1,000 cookies a weekend, and he's currently looking to expand his brand into fashion.
In our last rehearsal.
So is everybody in camp?
Everybody who was in camp.
Oh, somebody said something about African dance.
They have dance, they have song.
Okay,
I'm gonna keep saying it. I was very specific that he did. I told y'all to come
and they were. Now watch this. I told them, let them know. I told them that people who were dancing, they was supposed to be getting ready to say African dance.
Oh, make sure you come right to the choir was first. Because Mama was speaking that
Somebody left one right in the chair.
Was it Tyson?
Everybody going? Make sure everybody go, Jay.
Everybody gone, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, get over there. Go ahead, get over there. So y'all can probably sing or something.
Y'all later, y'all.
I told them that she asked us to church. Nobody told her yet.
Where that?
She was out here in the parking lot.
Well, no, take them in the church. We're going to put them in the parking lot. Come on, y'all go to church. Let mommy come find y'all so you can go to church and go find mommy. Yeah, you can save it. I can't. Yeah, go back. Cross over. Hey, Devon, you got a minute? Was that you that told me to stand when you walk in and you got to like
Excuse me, y'all. I need to put your conversation on.
Look, wait.